The bright lights of Los Angeles shimmered in the reflection of the airplane window as Miguel Santiago, a 26-year-old Filipino singer, pressed his forehead against the cool glass. It had taken him 5 years of saving tips from a small diner in Manila to afford this trip. He had one dream: to stand on the America's Got Talent stage and sing like the man he had idolized since he was a child, Elvis Presley. Miguel grew up in Tondo, Manila, one of the busiest, roughest parts of the city. His mother, Lola Teresa, sold vegetables in the local market. His father had passed away when Miguel was just 10. Every night, while the noisy city buzzed outside their small apartment, Miguel would sit beside the radio, twisting the knob until he found that deep, soulful voice. Wise men say, only fools rush in. Elvis became his teacher, his comfort, and his dream. But life had never made things easy. His friends laughed when he tried to sing like a foreign legend. "Bro, why Elvis? Nobody here even knows him anymore," one said. Miguel would just smile softly. "They will. Someday they will." Years later, when his mother fell ill, Miguel stopped chasing auditions and worked full-time at a local diner. He sang to customers sometimes, not for fame, but to make them smile. Tourists would often say, "You sound just like Elvis, kid." One evening, an old American couple left a business card on the table after hearing him sing. The man winked and said, "Greater than, you ever come to LA, kid, you auditioned for America's Got Talent. You've got something special." Miguel had laughed nervously back then. But that night, he looked at the stars over Manila and whispered, "Greater than, someday, mama. Someday, I'll sing for the world." When his mother passed away a year later, her last words echoed in his heart. "Greater than, Anik, sing for the world. Let them know your heart." So he sold his small guitar, borrowed money from a friend, and flew to Los Angeles, carrying nothing but his mother's rosary and a tiny photo of her smiling by the old radio. Now, as he stepped into the massive AGT theater, the size of the crowd took his breath away. Thousands of faces, cameras, judges, lights so bright they blinded him. He clutched his trembling hands together backstage as the coordinator called, "Greater than, next up, Miguel Santiago from the Philippines." When the curtains parted, he walked forward, small, shy, wearing a plain black jacket, his only decent pair of shoes, and the weight of 1,000 dreams on his shoulders. The audience was quiet. Simon Cowell leaned forward, brows slightly raised. "Greater than, Simon, hello. What's your name and where are you from?" Miguel, nervously, "My name's Miguel Santiago. I'm from the Philippines." Simon, smiling, "Welcome, Miguel. And what will you be doing for us today?" Miguel, I'm going to sing, Elvis Presley." The audience murmured. A few chuckles rippled through the crowd. "Elvis. In 2025. Simon leaned back skeptically. "Greater than, all right. Let's see what you've got, Miguel." Miguel nodded and closed his eyes. For a moment, the whole world went silent, and then the first notes of "Can't Help Falling in Love" filled the room. His voice was deep, warm, and hauntingly familiar. Like time had folded back, and Elvis himself had walked into the room. People began leaning forward. When he sang the line, "Greater than, take my hand, take my whole life too," his voice cracked, not from nerves, but emotion. He opened his eyes, glistening with tears, and whispered mid-song, "Greater than, for you, mama." The judges froze. Simon's usual poker face softened. He tilted his head, eyes narrowing in awe. Heidi covered her mouth. Sophia turned toward Simon, whispering, "Greater than, he sounds exactly like him." As Miguel hit the final note, the audience erupted into applause. People stood, cheered, and cried. Miguel blinked, stunned, his chest heaving. Simon raised his hand for silence. "Greater than, Miguel," he said, his British accent firm but unusually gentle. "When you said you'd sing Elvis, I thought it would be another cheap imitation. But that came from your soul. You didn't just sound like Elvis, you felt like him." The crowd cheered louder. Heidi added, "Greater than, you gave me goosebumps, Miguel. I could feel your love, your pain, everything." Tears streamed down Miguel's face. "Greater than, it's for my mom," he whispered into the mic. "She loved Elvis. I promised her I'd sing on a big stage one day." Simon leaned back, tapping his golden buzzer button slowly with his finger, teasing the crowd. The audience began chanting, "Greater than, press it. Press it. Press it." Miguel looked up, trembling, as Simon stood and said, "Greater than, you know what, Miguel, I think your mom just heard you sing." And then, collision boom. The golden buzzer exploded. Golden confetti rained down, shimmering in the spotlight like blessings from heaven. Miguel fell to his knees, covering his face as tears streamed down. Simon walked up to the stage, knelt beside him, and whispered, "Greater than, you just made one of the best Elvis tributes I've ever seen. Your mother would be proud." Miguel sobbed openly, clutching the golden confetti in his hands, whispering, "Greater than, I did it, Mama. I did it." Months later, Miguel had become a sensation. Videos of his performance reached millions online. Filipinos around the world called him the voice of Elvis reborn. But the fame never changed him. He still carried that same rosary in his pocket before every rehearsal. On the night of the finals, he stood backstage, nervous but ready. The stage assistant whispered, "Greater than, you okay, Miguel?" "Yes," he smiled. "Just talking to my mom before I go." He looked up at the ceiling, murmuring, "Greater than, Mama, walk with me, okay." When the lights dimmed, he stepped onto the stage again, this time with confidence glowing in his eyes. The crowd roared his name. "Greater than, Miguel. Miguel. Miguel." Simon smiled from the judges' table. "Greater than, you ready to make history, Miguel?" Miguel nodded, took the mic, and said softly, "Greater than, this song's for everyone who's ever lost someone, but still feels their love." The music began, "If I Can Dream." His voice soared, strong, passionate, full of hope. Every lyric carried the fire of his journey. The screens behind him showed flashes of his childhood, his mother smiling, him singing at the diner, the slums of Manila glowing under streetlights. When he reached the final line, "Greater than, and while I can dream, please let my dream come true," he lifted his hand to the sky. The entire theater stood. Simon wiped a tear. Sophia clapped through tears. Heidi blew a kiss toward him. The cameras zoomed in on Miguel's face, sweat, tears, and a trembling smile. When the music faded, silence hung for a heartbeat, then the crowd erupted. The confetti rained again. Simon stood up first, his voice breaking slightly. "Greater than, you didn't just honor Elvis tonight, Miguel. You honored your mother, your country, and the power of music." Miguel pressed a hand to his heart. "Greater than, I came here with nothing but my voice and my mother's love. And today, I have everything." He looked into the camera and whispered, "Greater than, to every Filipino dreamer, don't give up. Our voices deserve to be heard." The crowd roared again. As the stage lights dimmed and the music swelled, Miguel lifted his face toward the sky, and for a brief, shining moment, he felt it. A whisper, soft and tender, like a breeze through golden confetti. "Greater than, I'm proud of you, Anik." He smiled through tears. "Greater than, thank you, Mama." The screen faded to black, and the words appeared. "Greater than, from Manila to the world. Never stop believing in your voice."